So a lot of people have been asking me to kind of do a demonstration on how my 3-step to more leads and more sales works. It's very simple. And I developed this years ago. It was actually 2013. I made it better over the years. And the best part about it, it will work for any business. And I think one of the most important aspects to my 3-step plan is that it allows a business owner not to be overwhelmed. We have so many tools that are hitting us. We got people talking about building funnels, which there's nothing wrong with building funnels, but it seems that everybody skips over what you need to be able to have a successful funnel. You got to have leads coming in, and you got to become a pro at generating leads. And a lot of people get that confused when they think about people going to their funnel and generating leads, is they think that you're just advertising and getting people to just click your advertisement, and then people just get disappointed. That's not the way to be successful in any business, and especially with an online business. It has become even easier for people to be able to get their information out to audiences, to advertise. You can do it in minutes or an hour if you're not as experienced, but you can actually set up an ad and get it out there same day. But people are more discouraged even now than they were back when I started my company with the print advertising business, which business owners had to wait a whole week before their ad was placed. And now with being able to place their ad in minutes or hours or whatever, really quick, people are not successful because they don't really know what they're doing. That's the problem. They just don't know what they're doing. And if people can, buckle down and understand what they're doing, you will be able to become successful. Let me tell you a quick story before I draw out my 3 steps to success that has worked for my businesses and has worked for other people's businesses across different industries. So this is what it wasn't actually a program that made me even think about this. It was a combination of a few things. I was buying leads for my sales reps. We're talking about early 2000s. I was buying leads for my sales reps, and the company that I had started at that time, which is very successful now, we wanted to service people in 50 states. I had said to myself that my next business that I was going to start was going to be in all 50 states. I didn't want to limit myself to just being in one area. And so what I did is I started that company, hired a couple of reps, and they were calling leads that would come in from newspaper ads that I ran. And because I was in newspaper business, I was like, hey, I can place my ad in all of these publications and we should get all of these leads to come in. No, that should have been a warning also to me that the newspaper business was going to be on its way down. That should have been a big, huge warning sign that print advertising was just going down the tubes. Not to say that it won't be here for some publications, but overall, industry is down the tubes. You'll see that everything is digital. And so I ended up, because we wasn't getting enough leads from the ads that I was running in newspapers. And I was running like 200-300 newspapers a week. And it just wasn't working. So I went to buy leads. I was like, oh, okay, well, we'll buy leads of people who are supposedly interested in the service that we had to offer with my new business. That was a disaster. That was like throwing a bomb into my business. And if I would have kept doing that, it would have just been, the business would have went under. And luckily, I still own my publication. I had my weekly advertising publication that was out, and I would, we continue running ads in there. and we would get local leads, and people would come into the office, sign up for the service, and then I did what I could do at that time. We're talking 2006, 2000, really 2006 to 2012 was when I was just, business was on life support, spending a lot of money. Lucky that I had another business that was supporting that business. And, but went to buy leads, did what I could do on social media to generate leads for my sales reps. It was slow. It was very slow. I was losing a lot of money. I was, I had told my wife one time, with all the different advertisement, not even counting what I was paying the sales reps, I had lost like $40,000. And then while I was online one day, this post came up, and on that post, this is all it said. It was very simple. It was very simple, but something grabbed me from that post. The person wasn't even selling a program. Later, I found out that they do have programs for sale, but they wasn't selling a program. And this is what that post said. It said, pick a platform, which would be like Facebook, Instagram, Google. I think Pinterest was pretty big back at that time. TikTok didn't exist. There were other ones that were out there. It was like, pick a platform, learn to generate leads from that platform, and learn to generate sales from the leads from that platform. And for some reason that struck me, and I was just like, I'm just going to do exactly that. He didn't even tell you how to do it, nothing, no instruction, anything. And so what I did is I picked Facebook, and I said, I'm going to learn how to generate leads on Facebook. From generating those leads, I was going to give them to my sales reps, and then they're going to call them and they're going to close them. And that was it. I just figured out how to generate leads. This is one of the biggest things that I had learned when I started posting the ads, is that I was trying to sell people when I should have been trying to generate leads, because people don't know you well enough to buy your stuff like that. And what I'm going to draw out for you is going to show you how I ended up solving that problem. In the end, people are, to this day, every day, buying my service from that particular company without even speaking to my sales reps. As a matter of fact, I've converted all my sales reps to be customer service and onboarding agents for that service. So they don't even call to close people anymore. That's how good I've gotten at being able to do this. And so at that time, we went from where we didn't have leads, and then my sales reps, at that time, I would just download them and print them, split them between the two sales reps, and they were calling. And just with commission, they had both built themselves up to, some of their weekly paychecks was over $2,000 per week for those two reps. Like, life was very good. Life was good for me. I was making my money back that I had spent, and I consider it an investment. The $40,000 plus that I invested brought back millions of dollars. So that's, that it was just like some people spend, thousands of dollars to go to college. I could consider it like I spent $40,000 plus to get that education on lead generation and be able to build that business to like really knock it out of the ballpark. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you my 3-step system that I put into action. And I'm using Zoom. This is a nice little tool thing that they got here. You can see that you can put all of these things in there. People love the visuals, but so hopefully you can struggle through with my writing here. So the first thing that I did was I got very good at ads. Like this right here is the key to everything else that I'm going to go through to that will make everything work. So now, what you need to pay attention to with the ads, a lot of people pay attention to the clicks. Like they're clicking my ad, and then they get frustrated when they don't make any sales. The number one thing that I did, this is the adjustment that I did, is that when you run ads, you want to run ads to generate leads. You want to generate leads. So that means that whatever business you're in, you want to craft your advertisement to generate leads for your business. Now, here's one of the things that I hear a lot from people, and they'll say things like, I can't generate leads for my business. I had an attorney who had said he can't generate leads for his business. He's under certain restrictions, not allowed to, all of this stuff. Had restaurants say you can't generate leads for a restaurant. I had, who else? Car dealers. I mean, I've spoken to a lot of different company owners, and I would tell them, you generate leads in some sense of your business. You're generating leads already. You just don't understand it that way because you only are focused on the end result. And I see a lot of people who go from, like, one of my attorney clients went from working for another law firm, started their own, and they were of the mindset that they opened their doors and they were going to get all of these clients. And because the company they used to work for, they had open doors, they worked for that company, and they had a lot of clients. And I was like, you're not understanding what the company already did for you. This is one of the things, like, when people open up their own business, this one thing that I'm telling you right now is where they end up failing. And you can go and look at the SBA and all of the different companies that track businesses that open up and close. And when I look at them, all of these businesses end up closing for what reason? They end up closing because they don't have money. Why don't they have money? Because they wasn't making any sales. So you're going to have to get very good at, it's a little frozen there. You're going to have to get very good at lead generation. Now, I won't go into too much detail about it right now, but this is something that you got to get. Whatever business you're in, you're going to have to figure out how to craft those ads to bring in leads. The second thing from those leads, and this is like basic level, like this is basic. And if you don't do the basics, you will never do the advanced stuff. All the stuff that they're telling you with funnels and AI and all of that, it's not going to work for you because you don't have any foundation about how it's supposed to work. So when you generate leads, the way I did it with my company, and you can get more advanced, depending on which company I'm running the ads for, which one of my companies, I'll get name, email, and phone. Now, before I move on to this, you will know if your ad is working because you'll get clicks, and then you'll generate leads. And then from your ads, from the clicks, how much is it costing you for a lead? It will vary depending on the industry that you're in. For example, for the attorneys, for bankruptcy, it could cost upwards of $30 for a lead. And if they're running an ad and they spend $100 a day. Or no, let's do it from where the entry point most people will come at. Let's just say that leads are going to be coming in at $30 per lead. And you listen to what the platforms tell you to do, and you do like a $5 or $10 a day ad budget. Well, understanding that demographic, and I've done this for bankruptcy attorneys, it's going to cost upwards of 25 to 30, even $30 per lead, depending on where you're at and what state you're in. So it could cost that amount. So that means that if you're having a $10 a day budget, it can take you upwards of 3 days to generate a lead for your service. Now, on the back end of that, if they end up signing up for your service, most bankruptcy attorneys are somewhere around $2,300 to $4,500. So they're going to make way more than that. But here's the problem. Is that everybody skips to making the sale, but they never understand and dig into what it takes to get to the sale. And that's what that's what I'm sharing with you right now. So once you generate the lead, you automatically, and there's automation that you can utilize, you want to send them to your sales page. So you got your sales page or appointment page. So I'm already ahead of some of you. I've worked with insurance agents or real estate agents, and they said, well, we can't sell them right away. And I said, well, can you get them to make appointments with you? And then they would be like, well, Steve, why don't I just run the ad to get the person to make an appointment? Or why don't I just run the ad to get the person to make a sale? And I'm telling you from experience, if you do that, you might as well just make like I'm going to draw it out right here. This is a toilet, and you will be flushing. This is you. You'll be just throwing it down the toilet. That's what you'll be doing. That's what you'll be doing if you do that. I don't know if I can get that, erase that little figure off of there, but think about that. Every time, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to leave this right here. Every time you think about running the ad to sale, running the ad to appointment, without doing what I'm going to share with you next, just think of this picture right here, because that's exactly what you're signing up for. So now, here is, so let me review. You made an ad that's going to generate leads for whatever your product or service is. It does not matter if you don't want to speak to people. It does not matter if your end result is to have them buy something on your website without them talking to you. I just said that I'm already doing this for one of my businesses. So don't just get that out of your mind. So you run ads, generate leads. You collect this information, and then the next thing that you do is you have your follow-up process. We're going to email. You can incorporate text and phone. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff that you can put in. So now I'm going to put phone right here, because you can do different things with phone now. When I started, I just had a basic follow-up email. I did not have any text incorporated, and I didn't have any automation with phone in there, but I do now. So the lead would come in from our ad. This ad is clear and concise about what we're offering, but we're not trying to sell them. We collect their name, email, and phone number. You can collect more, but I was collecting name, email, phone number. From that name, email, phone number, I would submit that with using a software to immediately send them information about my service that I offered over here. So they could go right to there, and they would end up making a decision to buy. If they didn't, I had my sales reps. We would download the list, and they would call them. That was all. Everything that I just showed you with these 3 steps right here got that business biggest month was $100,000. With just doing these 3 steps. I didn't even have like a serious funnel or anything in place. No serious funnel or anything in place. I basically had an ad that was very clear, collected name, email, phone number, and I was only on Facebook and Instagram. That was it. I was only, back then, I don't even know if they included Instagram. They maybe didn't even have Instagram at that time. It was just Facebook. So it was an ad, name, email, phone number, to the sales page Most people did not sign up from the sales page, and my sales reps called them, and they took them back and signed them up and closed them. I did that for years. That was all I did. The only changes that I would make is that I enhanced my email follow-up. I had basically started with just 3 days. So every 3 days they got a different email, and it was only 7 different emails. So if they did not go to the sales page at that time within those 3 days and sign up for themselves, we would still be hitting them this way. Over time, I just added another email, another follow-up email, showing them and demonstrating what we've done for customers, other customers, the results, testimonials, what we can do for them. Like, I just kept expanding it, and it got, I think right now we're probably at about 70 emails. So if someone gets on my list here, they're going to get 70 emails every 3 days. So every 3 days is going to be another email. So every 3 days. And at some point, they would end up signing up for the service or a sales rep. Now, I've taken out where the sales reps don't have to call, and I have automated with AI with calling. I've also automated with AI with texting, and also incorporated AI conversations with the texting. So, but I won't overwhelm you because I don't want to go too deep. I just want to just talk about this right here. Because if you do this right here, depending on how much your product or service is, you could, do this amount or a little bit less maybe, or a whole lot more. But the big thing that I want you to understand is this: ads, leads, sales, or appointments. We got email, text, but you don't have to start with that. You can just start with email, and then your sales reps can call people. Now, let me talk about this right here. And if you watch my one video, I had talked about why you need this. The reason why you need this, you need to incorporate this here into your business, is not, well, it is and it isn't. Why it's more important. Let me state it that way. It's always been important, but now it's even more important. Think about it from the customer's point of view. If there's a whole bunch of other businesses offering your services, if they dealt with people, other business owners or individuals who offer your service or your product, and it was a total failure, bad experience, all of that stuff, why would they even want to come to your business? And I'm here to tell you, they're not going to come to your business because of what you say to them 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. If you look on the internet or type it into ChatGPT, ask ChatGPT how many points of contact does an individual need to have before they really make a solid buying decision. You will see it could be 7 to 10 times. The 7 to 10 times is partly because they maybe don't know about you and your business, and even if the product is similar. Because I just purchased a product for my grandchildren to help them with their writing, and I saw it online, and I was so skeptical. I saw it on TikTok, and I was so skeptical to buy from that site that I went directly to the company to see if everything was legit. So just think about that. That company inadvertently showed me that product, but because of the structure of their ad, they did just like this. They went ad to sale, ad to sale. Well, if you have a skeptical person like myself, and if you got a really skeptical person like my wife, you are wasting your money. You are doing this. If you're running the ad directly there, you're doing this because I know for a fact that that individual who ran the ad on TikTok, I did not buy it from them. I did not feel comfortable buying it from them. But if that individual from TikTok made me make a decision, maybe I would have, maybe I wouldn't have. But that's up, that you don't have to worry about that. If the person wants to become a lead, They're doing it of their own will. You're not making them become a lead. And by doing that, you're actually helping them take one baby step in learning to trust your business. So if they take that baby step and give you, let's just say for this company, we don't need phone number. We just want name and email because we're going to do the follow-up to just sell the product to them, which is what that children's writing book was about. They could have ran their ad. I was very interested because I continually every day think about doing things to help my grandchildren be able to, with education, with everything, with everything. So they hit the right demographic person for their product that they had. But the way that they did it made me skip that skepticism. They're not thinking about the skeptical people. And maybe they're successful, maybe they're not, but I could tell you that most people are skeptical. Right now, you're skeptical. So if you get the leads and just simply have an email follow-up, you will slowly get people to know, like, and trust your business. So think about it. Think about it. With all of the skepticism out there, with all of the different businesses that are selling people junk, or they're not coming through with customer service or whatever it is, that's in the customer's mind. But when you email back to them, you text back to them, or you call them, you're able to control the narrative. And that's what the whole thing is about. Because on one of my, let me tell you something that I learned when I did this. It was incredible. I'll share this with you. When I started doing this, people would email, they would email back. They would email back and they would think that I'm talking to them, which already kind of freaked me out, because I was like, man, I didn't even know that automation could actually do something like that. So yeah, people would email me back and they would say things, and I was like, I never thought about it from that point of view for my service that I was offering. And I would make tweaks to my sales page. And the more tweaks that I would make to the sales page from the email replies or from my sales reps, because whenever someone didn't sign up for the service, or even if they did sign up for the service, I would ask my sales reps to find out so we can, make adjustments either to scripts or to the sales page. After 7 emails out, which was 7 days. So from after just sending 2 emails out. Now, I'm not saying it could be that easy now, because a lot more people are online with online businesses. A lot more people are, scamming people. So it makes it a lot tougher for the business owner. But after just 7 days, I had made my first sale without my sales reps having to talk to someone. Now, you better bet my antennas went way up. It was a light bulb over my head, and it was like, the focus really needs to be on making that sales page better. How do I get that sales page better? Let me tell you what I started doing. So to be able to get the sales page better, I started, and this is how I ended up getting more emails. I said, okay, let me make more emails, but I incorporated something else, which was a daily blast. I did a daily email blast. Forgive my writing here. I did a daily email blast every day. And I would kind of change up the subject line to get people to open up the email. And I would make short little emails, information. Eventually I did start putting like a little image that would show results, but it was all to get people to go back to the sales page. And the first thing I noticed that I had to get better at doing is getting people to open the emails. But don't be fooled by people who claims people don't open emails anymore, because what's the first thing that you do when you get up in the morning or throughout your day? You go and look at your email multiple times. So really it's not about, the people wasn't opening up those people's emails. People wasn't opening up my emails at the beginning because I wasn't good at getting people's attention to make them want to even open up the email. I got very good at getting people to open up emails. Then I needed to, the next lesson I had to learn was to get people to click through. Just because they open the email doesn't mean they're going to click through. And if they don't click through, I'm not going to have a chance of making a sale. So I had to get very good at the verbiage that I used to get people to open up. Number one, read it or hurry up and do whatever and click through to go see the sales page. And again, from the information from people replying back and from my reps, I was already making critiques and changes and tweaks on my sales page. So and I've done this for years, like every day, like rain, sleet, snow, holidays, it does not matter, even on Christmas. For that one business, people will even sign up on Christmas Day, Easter, it does not matter. I send out daily email blasts for that company. And something that was kind of, you probably kind of guessed what I'm going to say next is, because I controlled that data from all of those people that were interested in that particular service for that company. Guess what I did later is I started putting other email follow-ups for other related services for that business. It was either through me or through affiliates that I would work through, because I had the information. I had the list. I have the list. Oh, currently my list is probably about, maybe after cleaning it up from people who were not opening, probably somewhere around 150,000 people on my non-buyers list. And then I have thousands of people, probably maybe 30 to 40,000 on my buyers list. It might even be more than that, maybe close to 50,000 on my buyers list over the years. And so I started incorporating other products and services in there. And something that I learned is that with these, it was a lot easier to sell them because they already know, like, and trust my company. Either they were, maybe they didn't sign up for the initial service that I had, but they know that I'm, continually communicating with them, giving them information, and they trusted us, that we wasn't here today, gone tomorrow. So it made a huge difference for that business, and I've been able to do that for multiple companies. So now, if you're interested in learning how to do this, there's going to be a link either above or below this video, and I'll, pretty much, if you follow what I put in place, you could either do it yourself or you can hire my company to put everything in place for you and manage it for you. You'll see that you'll have a very good chance at success, and then you can start to add these different tools and things that you see out there with AI and stuff like that. That stuff is, you do want to take advantage of the new technology, but if you don't have this front end part down, none of that stuff is going to work. Just none of it is going to work. So, I mean, just imagine this. Just imagine this. Let me clear this screen real quick. Just imagine this. Let me get this here. So just imagine this for a second. You've seen this before. This is like the sales funnel. You want to make money in the end. You're bringing people to see what you had to sell, what you had to offer. So this is your funnel. This is the top. This is people that are coming from your ad, that are coming from right here. That's these people here. They might be very interested. More than likely, they're interested, but we don't know their level. And then your follow-up process starts to figure out where they're at with their level of interest. and then you continue following up, and you would think that these people would end up becoming a sale. So if you can imagine, if all of this here is really about knowing, liking, and trusting your business. Because think about it this way: no matter what product or service you have, unless you're selling cars or, maybe with the bankruptcy attorneys, because you get instant relief from the debt collectors that are trying to collect from you, or maybe you're a food place, and if they eat, they get to experience eating there right away. But even with that, people they look at reviews and all of that stuff, and you don't have to depend on reviews if you take advantage of doing something like this for your business, even if it's a restaurant. But think about it: people don't know, like, and trust you, and when they're buying something that they can't experience right away, they're going to really be buying you and your company. Or if you're just a company, you're the leader of a company, and you're not like the face of the company, they're basically going to be buying the company. They have to know, like, and trust the company, because that's going to be their first payoff. When they hand over their money, that's their first payoff. And so if you don't do that right, you're going to end up, maybe, businesses survive. I'm not saying you won't survive. What I'm saying is that if you start a business, I don't think you want to start your business to where you're working hard all the time, and that you're always frustrated about where the next sale is going to come from. How are we going to, pay our bills and stuff like that. I think that one of the biggest stress relievers for me, for all of my businesses, is that we have a constant flow of interested people, that we get their information and we can follow back up with them if they happen to get busy. I didn't even talk about that. A lot of people don't buy some of the times because they get interrupted with the example that I gave you above, when we would have abandoned shopping carts, and when my sales reps would call them, they were like, I just got in, my kid came in the room and I forgot that I was on the page, and I just forgot to complete the order. It's like crazy stuff like that. So you never know what's going on with them, and you don't want to miss those sales. So if you do what I'm sharing with you here, it's going to open up more opportunities for you to be able to make more sales. So again, the link is either above or below this video, so you can see what I had to offer. My company can either put this in place for you, or you can learn how to put it in place for yourself. Thank you for your time. This is Stephen A. Williams.